In this lecture, we will discuss some of the important definitions as prescribed in GDPR. Let us understand the definition of personal data as per GDPR. Personal data means any information relating to an identified or identifiable natural person, that is data subject. Such identifier includes your name, some particular identification number, for example, social security number of a data subject, location data through which they can able to find your address, your online identifier, for example, IP address, MAC address, or one or more factor specific to your physical, physiological, genetic, mental, economic, and other type of identifier. So these are the personal data as defined in GDPR. Let us understand the definition of term processing as per GDPR. Processing means any operation performed on personal data, whether or not by an automated means. Let us understand which activity form parts of processing. If you collect data, it is processing. If you record any data, it is processing. Organization of the data, structuring, storage of data will termed as processing. Adaptation or alteration, retrieval of the data, consultation, use, disclosure, dissemination, alignment or combination, restriction, erasure or destruction. So all this activity will be termed as processing as per GDPR regulation. Let us understand who can be a controller as per GDPR. Controller means the natural or legal person, public authority, agency which determines the purposes and means of the processing of personal data. So they have authority to decide how to process the data. They are known as controller. Let us now discuss who can be a processor as per GDPR. Processor means a natural or legal person, public authority, agency or any other body which processes the personal data on behalf of the controller. So, processor by themselves cannot decide the means and the purpose of processing the data. Now, let us recap some of the important definitions by way of multiple choice question. Let us discuss the first question. Which of the following correctly defines the controller as per GDPR? Correct answer is option A, who determines the purposes and means of the processing of personal data. Article 4.7 defines the controller. Controller means the natural or legal person who determines the purposes and means of processing of personal data. Next question. HDA Incorporated is collecting personal data for one of their processes and determines the purpose and means for processing the personal data. They are primarily considered as. Correct answer is option D, controller. As we discussed earlier, Article 4.7 defines the controller. Controller means any natural or legal person who determines the purposes and means of processing of the personal data. Next question. Denny processes the personal data on behalf of HDA. Denny is primarily considered as. Correct answer is option C, processor. Article 4.8 defines the processor. Processor means any natural or legal entity which processes the personal data on behalf of the controller. So they cannot decide the means and purpose of processing. Next question. Which of the following correctly defines the processor as per GDPR? Correct answer is option B, who processes the personal data on behalf of the controller. As we discussed earlier, Article 4.8 defines the processor, and processor means any natural or legal person who acts on behalf of the controller. That's all for this lecture. Thanks for watching.